from the betting capital of the world, giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else, with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
Hey, what is up, guys? We are back. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Any Action Sportscast. I'm your host, Effie, and this week we're going to be going over UFC Vegas 63, Arnold Allen versus Calvin Kattar. Now, the card itself isn't the best, only 9 fights on the card. The Khalil, Rountree, Dustin, Jacoby should be a banger. The Dolidze versus Phil Hawes should be a banger. But that main event, guys, Arnold Allen versus Calvin Kattar, is going to deliver 100%. I'm super excited for that fight, super excited to watch that fight, super excited to talk about that fight with you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into it. In the main event at UFC Vegas 63, we have a straight-up banger between Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen. The two 145ers find themselves in a pivotal matchup because, in my opinion, the winner of this fight is sitting pretty for a title shot. In the red corner, we have Calvin Kattar. The 34-year-old with a 23-6 record has been bet from a -125 favorite all the way to a +105 underdog. On the other side, Arnold Allen, the 28-year-old, comes in with an 18-1 record, and we've seen him go from a +105 underdog to a -125 favorite. Calvin Kattar will have a slight size advantage as he'll be 3 inches taller and have a 2-inch reach advantage. And I think that's actually going to matter here. This is going to be a really close fight, the 5-round fight in the small Apex cage. And man, it's a tough fight for Arnold Allen. If you look at everything on paper, it should lean you toward Kattar. More experience, more power, has fought 5 rounds before multiple times. I think this is a 6-main event, or a 5-round fight at least. On the other side, a guy that doesn't fight very often, Arnold Allen, coming off smoking Dan Hooker, who, I mean, let's be honest, Dan Hooker was coming down to 145, and even then he wasn't doing that good at 155. But nonetheless, that was a good win, man. I think the odds for that was pick'em, so even the casinos thought that was going to be a close fight, and Arnold Allen just blitzed him and got him out of there quick. He's a good fighter. Arnold Allen's a really good fighter. He's a super cool dude as well. He has a YouTube page, and if you watch a couple of his videos, he actually has mentioned how when he was a baby, his dad was on steroids. So that's why he's like super built. Like he just says he has really good genetics, and he's like, no, dude, like my dad is on steroids. It's not like I work harder than anyone else. Like I work hard, but like I have good genetics. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, he's built different. He literally is built different. But as the way he fights, he's a striker, really good striker, and that's where I think Calvin has the edge here. I feel like Calvin is the cleaner, technical, more crisper boxer, but he also has more of a variety of strikes. I think that Arnold Allen has a better kicks, especially the high kick, that left high kick that he likes to throw. I think the overall kick game of Allen is better than Kattar's, but Kattar's elbows, jabs, hooks, the body work, the defensively, like I just feel like he's better overall on the feet than Allen, and it's going to be a 25-minute standing fight here. And I gotta go with Kattar, man. It's funny to see him go from a favorite to an underdog here, because I don't blame anyone betting on Allen. At first, I thought I was going to pick Allen going into the tape, but I just think that Kattar's going to get the type of fight that he wants here. I don't expect anyone to initiate the clinch along the cage here, and even if they do, Kattar's nasty with those elbows up close. We've never seen Allen have to go 5 rounds, and we've seen Kattar do it over and over and over again. He's got that dog in him. Not to say that I don't think that Allen can do it either, but we just never seen him do it, so I'm going to go with the guy that I've seen do it before. But one thing I do want to talk about is Calvin Kattar's last fight, which he got screwed in that Josh Emmett fight, which I thought he won, was only 3 months and 2 weeks ago. And he took, a pretty good amount of damage. Josh Emmett hits hard. He cracks hard. And to come back that quick, it's a little worrisome for sure. He's 34 years old. Arnold Allen's only 28. And, it's one of those things where the younger guy, do we see Calvin's chin finally crack? He took that beating, we all know, and the historic beating against Max Holloway. But yeah, the quick turnaround, I guess you could say, 3 months and 2 weeks for Calvin Kattar after fighting someone as powerful as Josh Emmett is a little worrisome, because we know that he's gonna take damage in this fight too. But dude, he's hard to put away, super durable. Both these guys are durable. Interested to see what the over is in this fight. I hope it's not 4.5. I hate betting over 4.5. Might as well just bet fight goes the distance. So I hope it's 3.5. I hope we get a good price on that. But yeah, for the pick, I'm going to go with Calvin Kattar because I think the difference here is going to be his height and size advantage and his overall power advantage. I think even if it's 50-50, his strikes are going to be doing the more damage. And I just don't know if Arnold can go 5 rounds. I wouldn't be mad like if he won. I'd be super happy for him. Like I said, I'm a fan of the guy. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube. But for the sake of the show and maybe for a bet later, depending on how far the odds get, I'm picking Calvin Kattar to win this fight via decision. Up next, we have a heavyweight fight between Waldo Cortes-Acosta and Jared Vanderaa. The Salsa Boy will be making his UFC debut at 31 years old with a 7-0 record, and he's currently sitting as a -200 favorite. On the other side, we have Jared Vanderaa, the 30-year-old, running a 4-fight losing streak, currently sitting with a 12-9 record as a +170 underdog. Now, these guys have the similar height and reach, with Vanderaa having a slight 2-inch reach advantage. But if you watch these guys fight, it's clear that Acosta is a better athlete. He's going to have a speed advantage in this fight, a striking advantage in this fight. And if you look at Jared Vanderaa, I mean, he's the next Sam Alvey. He's on a 4-fight losing streak where he's just not fighting smart. He got finished by Romanov, which, granted, he's a good fighter. Romanov is. He lost the decision to Andrei, Arlovski, which I will say that was a close fight. He could have won. So he might be fighting a 2-fight losing streak, but it's those last two that are big red flags. He tried to take down Alexei Oleinik and got submitted, which that's like the dumbest thing you could do if you're fighting Oleinik. And then he tried to stand and bang with Chase Sherman, which is like the one thing that Chase Sherman can do well is box. And he got knocked out. And so you can't really bet on the guy to have high fight IQ here. So because you would think that, okay, I'm fighting Waldo Acosta here, I have to take him down, I have to clinch him up because he's a dangerous striker. Waldo has legit hands. He's a former boxer. He has 2 pro boxing fights, I believe, on his record. So, has some professional boxing experience. The dude has hands. He's not very much of a wrestler. He can be taken down. He has okay get-up ability. But to me, that's the way Jared's going to have to win this fight. Get Acosta along the cage, use some inside trips to get him down, and try to win the fight there. Control him on the ground, gas him out, or maybe try to find a finish there from Mount. But I doubt it's going to happen. I think that Jared's going to get knocked out here. He's probably going to get cut from the UFC. So I'm picking Waldo via knockout. Up next, we have a middleweight fight between Tresean Gore and Josh Fremd. Gore comes in at 28 years old with a 3-2 record, coming in as a +160 underdog. Josh Fremd comes in at 28 years old as well with a 9-3 record, and he's currently a slight favorite at -190. I'm going with Fremd here because I just don't think that Tresean Gore is that good. We saw him on The Ultimate Fighter and he looked like $1 million, but he was fighting guys that just aren't UFC level. He fought Brian Battle and he got worked. He was really susceptible to those front kicks, and he just got slept by Cody Brundage bad. I know he changed camps for this fight, and I'm interested to see how that's going to favor him here, but I just think that he's not ready, man. He has 5 professional MMA fights. He's 3-2, and every time he seems to fight high-level guys, he seems to lose. On the other side, we have Josh, who's a finisher, man. That guy can strike, he can bang, he throws bombs, and he seems to only be losing the guys that are really good. He came and made his UFC debut on short notice and gave Fluffy Hernandez a really good fight. He got slept by RoboCop and LFA, but I mean, that guy's going to be in the top 10 one day, top 5. I don't know about top 5, but he's going to be a good fighter. Greg Ramirez is a good fighter. It's not a bad loss to have for sure. I'm going with Josh Fremd. I think that he's a good enough striker to not get knocked out by Gore here. Gore, to me, is just super low output, too reliant on that one shot, and doesn't seem to be able to take damage well. I mean, his wrestling is okay. He's a really strong guy, but I don't see him using grappling to win this fight, win minutes in this fight. I think that Josh could win this 15-minute striking fight and avoid getting knocked out. That's a big thing he has to avoid here, is avoiding that one punch, but I think he's going to be able to do it and either get a finish here or win via decision. So I'm going with Josh Fremd via decision. And up next, we have my favorite fight on the card. We have a light heavyweight fight between Khalil Rountree and Dustin Jacoby. Jacoby comes in 34 years old with an 18-5-1 record, and he currently sits as a -170 favorite. On the other side, we have Khalil Rountree, the 32-year-old, coming in with a 10-5 record, currently sitting as a +150 underdog. Now I'm going with Dustin Jacoby here, and I have a 1.6 unit bet on him to win 1 unit at -160, because I do think that he's going to be able to win a striking fight and not get knocked out by Khalil Rountree. I feel like Khalil Rountree is not going to be able to win a decision here. He does have the power advantage over Dustin, but Dustin has the experience advantage and overall kickboxing acumen to win this fight. He's fought overseas in Glory Kickboxing, and although Khalil is on this 2 fight winning streak where he just straight bodied his opponents, what he did to Bukauskas' knee, Modestus Bukauskas' knee, is insane. And then his last knockout, where he just absolutely destroyed Wolverson violently, was super impressive, man. But I gotta go with Dustin. He won his money against Park, got that finish. He's shown he can win fights where he has one working leg. He's got that dog in him. He's gonna fight for your money. And I think he's smart enough to not get knocked out by Khalil Rountree here. So I'm going with Dustin Jacoby to win via decision. And it's gonna be close because the whole time my heart's gonna be racing because I'm hoping he avoids getting knocked out. I think he's gonna be able to though. Give me Dustin Jacoby via decision. Hey yo, there's no way Roman Dolidze's nickname is the Caucasian. What the hell? Oh shit. Yo, the next fight we have is a straight up banger in the middleweight division between Roman Mr. Steal Your Girl Dolidze and Phil Hawes. Now this one, guys, is must see. Do not miss this fight. This is one of the fights on the card where you have to get to a TV. It's on ESPN Plus too, so it's free. Don't be a casual. Make sure you watch this fight. On one side, we have the 34-year-old Roman Dolidze coming in with a 10-1 record, sitting as a plus 140 underdog. On the other side, we have Phil Hawes, a 33-year-old, coming in with a 12-3 record, sitting as a minus 165 favorite. Those lines are super close for a reason, man. It's going to be a really close fight, and it comes down to who do you think is going to be able to use their striking, better. I feel like Phil Hawes is a better overall striker, but I feel like Roman is a more powerful striker. He's one of those guys where he can crack with one punch and really change the fight. He's super durable, super hard to put away. Whereas Phil Hawes, he actually has collegiate NCAA wrestling like credentials and background, you could say. He's super well-rounded. If you look at the guy, you like, dang, that guy has really good wrestling. Like, dang, he's bodying people on the feet. He's a really good striker, really fast hands. We just saw him kill Deron Wynn pretty much. The ref had to stop the fight. But Deron Wynn, obviously, let's be honest, guys, is like 5'5". That's kind of a weird fight to come off of. Whereas Roman Dolidze is 6'2". All right, he ain't Deron Wynn, but I'm interested to see how this fight plays out along the clinch because I feel like there's going to be moments where this is going to be pressed along the cage. Is how chaotic they're going to be. I feel like both these guys are, once they start exchanging, they're going to realize the danger that both guys brings. And so they're going to want to lock up. And in the clinch, Dolidze is really strong with those knees, man. We saw what he did against Dacus. Both these guys actually fought Dacus. And it's just one of those fights where at any moment it could end, but at the same time, they're not the most highest output of fighters. So I could see it dragging out as well. But once they start getting going, I could see it end at any second. And I'm going with Roman Dolidze, man. I feel like he can drop Phil here. Phil is shown to have a little bit of a chin problem. I don't want to say he's like chinny. That's I don't go that far, but he does show to be kind of hittable. And the big question with Roman is how will his gas tank hold up? We've seen him fade in fights in that third round. If Phil's fresh, which he probably will be, how will that look? Will Phil finish the fight in that third round? But I'm risking it. I'm not betting it. I'm picking Roman Dolidze to win via decision, but it's going to be close, man. Not really confident on this pick. Up next, we have a heavyweight fight between Andrei the Pitbull Arlovski and Marcos Rodriguez de Lima. The Pitbull, the OG, the triple OG vet Hall of Famer Arlovski comes in at 43 years old with a 34-20 record, sitting as a plus 190 underdog. On the other side, de Lima comes in 37 years old with a 19-8-1 record, and he's been bet from a minus 195 favorite all the way to a minus 220 favorite. And I get it, guys. Even though Arlovski's on a 4-fight winning streak, 3 of those decisions, maybe not the Felipe one, but the last 2, especially Vanderaa and Collier, those were super, super sketchy decisions, and they could have gone the other way. It's just something about him going to decisions and him getting the split decision wins where it makes him on a 4-5 winning streak. If he were to win here, I wouldn't be surprised to see him win a decision. It's just one of those things. They'll see like the new Kaylee Chinkagian, but for dudes in the heavyweight division, I could say. He's the champion of the elderly weight division for us here on the show. But I think it's time. I think it's time he's going to get knocked out here. And it's funny. Am I really picking de Lima, 8-year-old de Lima, to go from not beating Maurice Green to beating Andrei Arlovski? I mean, yeah, I am. But it's tough, man. Arlovski has to go at some point. You just can't be fighting forever. There's not much else to say other than if Arlovski wins, I wouldn't be surprised to see it be a decision. And if de Lima wins, I wouldn't be surprised to see it in, honestly, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But yeah, no action on this fight. Super, super sloppy fight. A pass from betting perspective for me, for sure. But the pick is de Lima via. And up next, we have a middleweight fight between Joseph the Ugly Man Holmes and Yong the Iron Turtle Park. The Ugly Man comes in 27 years old with an 8-2 record, sitting as a plus 200 underdog. On the other side, the 31-year-old Iron Turtle comes in with a 14-5 record, and he's currently sitting as a minus 240 favorite. Now, before we leave the page, I want you guys to take a look at that height and reach numbers. Joseph Holmes is going to be the way bigger fighter here. He's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage, or height advantage, I should say, and a 7-inch reach advantage. That's pretty significant, but I do think that Park is the better MMA fighter, and he is the pick here. But at minus 240, I don't think I'm going to bet it because someone like Holmes is so early on in their career. I mean, granted, he's fought Alan Amedovski and Jamie Pickett, who he lost to Jamie Pickett, which is a big red flag off the bat. Those are two like low, bottom of the barrel UFC caliber fighters, you could say. And I can't really base much off his like skill set because he's not really fighting anybody. His level of competition is not very good. Whereas Park, he is fighting UFC level guys. I think that Park is a better fighter, but that size disadvantage is significant. I'm interested to see how he's gonna be able to get in close. And someone like the Ugly Man Holmes, he's so young and early on in his career where you could see improvements like every fight to fight. So I don't want to get in front of that at minus 240 on Park. But the pick is Park, not going to be betting it, and I think he gets it done via decision. And up next, we have a featherweight fight between Chase Hooper and Steve Garcia. Chase Hooper comes in 23 years old with an 11-2-1 record, and he's currently the favorite at minus 250. Steve Garcia on the other side comes in 30 years old with a 12-5 record, and he's currently sitting as a plus 190 underdog. Now, this is a super interesting fight to me because I want to see how Chase Hooper looks. Like I said in that last fight breakdown, he's one of those guys where he's so early on in his career. He's made his debut at 19 years old, where he's essentially grown up in the UFC. But when someone's that early on, and fighting these high-level guys in front of all of us, you can start to see improvements fight to fight being made pretty rapidly. His hands in his last fight, Chase Hooper, that is, looked the best they've ever looked. When he first showed up on the scene, he was terrible on the feet. He looked really bad, all jiu-jitsu, Ryan Hall style. And since then he's improved. He's been working with Wonderboy Thompson, and I feel like it's showing. On the other side, Steve Garcia, we just saw him get slept by Mahashate bad, and that wasn't too long ago. But I don't think that he's gonna have to worry about getting slept by Chase Hooper here at all. And if anything, he's gonna have to worry about keeping this fight on the feet. I wonder how Chase Hooper is gonna be able to get this fight on the ground. I think that he's gonna struggle because, like I said, Steve Garcia is 6 foot. He's not a small featherweight. He's a big featherweight. I think that Chase might struggle to get this fight on the ground and be forced to have a 15-minute striking fight with someone that has some pretty good pop in his hands in Steve Garcia. That's why that line at minus 250 is a bit wide to me. I do think that Chase Hooper is going to win. I think that he's going to win a decision and obviously has a chance to get a submission at any moment in the fight. But that's a lot, man. Minus 250. I'm going to go ahead and have to pass on that. But the pick is, for the show, Chase Hooper via decision. That'll do it for our UFC Vegas 63 full card breakdown. Now it's time for our official bets. So far we have one bet. It's a 1.6 unit shot on Dustin Jacoby moneyline minus 160 to beat Khalil Rountree. I do think that this is a good bet. I think that it's going to be a 15-minute striking fight. And we're taking the fighter that's harder to hit, hard to put out, and has fought higher level strikers than Khalil Rountree. Nothing against Khalil, hometown Vegas guy. Shout out to Syndicate. But I do think that Justin Jacoby is just a better overall striker, better all kickboxer. I don't think that he's going to get knocked out by Khalil. And I think that he's going to be able to win a decision here. Super confident in that bet. So far, it's the only one we have. As far as what we're looking at in the future, I do want to take a look at fading Arlovski here. I know Lima is super bad as well, but man, like I said, I have a feeling that elderly championship belt's got to change hands. That'll do it for our show. Like I said, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about my picks, my predictions, and my bets. And yeah, man, good luck this week. We'll see you guys next week.